Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Gemini, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you've got the Hanged Man. So you're being urged to take it easy, take it slow. This would be a really good week to utilize or at least enhance your meditation practice if you have one. If you don't have one, this would be a really great week to give yourself over to contemplation, study, reflection, and peace. That being said, if you do have something important that you're trying to put out or something that you have to do expect some delays. Whenever the Hanged Man shows up, it basically says, if you don't take the break, I'll give you one. So unfortunately, that's kind of the way that this card works at times. So if there are things that you're trying to do, especially if you're racing towards a deadline of some sort, just be mindful that there are likely to be things that hold up the process or hold you back in some way. Very often as well, this card, there's two things else that I want to say. Very often this card is an invite to take stock of the present moment. And the other thing is sometimes, what is the best way to get what you want? Do nothing. Sit still and wait for it to come to you. With that said, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options, this week you have the King of Cups. So a Pisces person could feature for you this week very heavily. So you've got the King of Cups, Hanged Man, Pisces person. This could be somebody that is maybe somebody that you're interacting with quite heavily, maybe somebody that you are working with or alongside. I'm going to be really honest with you. This feels to me like somebody that's coming back into your life. It doesn't feel like a new person. And look, with this many swords cards following this King of Cups, I guess the question that you really need to ask yourself is, do you actually want to go down this path again? And the reason I say this is, it looks and feels to me like you're going to invite somebody back into your life. And this is because at the moment you are slightly emotionally compromised. Take a moment, take a stock to think about if this is somebody that you really want to reconnect with. And the reason I say that is because it looks like this person comes with a whole heap of shit that you really just don't want, quite frankly. Now, that being said, because this is your actions and options and this is about what you're doing, you are tapping into your creative flow this week. There's definitely you getting into some kind of creative energy and utilizing the power of your emotions to see it through. So that's really nice. I would say as well, like if you're going to do escapism this week, try not to do it through a substance. Do it through film, through TV, through the radio, through music, break out the paintbrushes, all of that good stuff. Now, you got this Seven of Swords in the communication sector. There's a couple of ways that this could show up. The first one, because you've got this King of Cups here, this could be you, I don't want to say lying, but this could be you spinning a yarn or bending the truth in order to get a certain result. That's going to have its own challenges and issues. This could also be in your emotional vulnerability and reconnecting with somebody from your past. You're not seeing things clearly, and so the line that they are spinning you is likely to be one that you buy hook, line and sinker. Remember, the Seven of Swords is lies, deceit. It's literally my least favorite card in the whole deck. Everything else I can pretty much deal with. Don't fucking lie to me, because I can't handle that shit. It really, really bugs me. Anyway, soapbox moment. Bad Rafi. When it comes to those of you that are studying, you've got this Hanged Man with the Seven of Swords. Honestly, I would say this was probably a moment where you've decided to take a certain avenue with your studies, and you're not thinking clearly. You're not seeing it from the right perspective for what you're actually trying to achieve. And this may end up tripping you up later on, which is why I say, take a minute, take a beat to really sit with how you're feeling this week so that you can process that and move forward. When it comes to those of you that are working for somebody else, look, I don't know what's going on in your work sector, but this may be a time where you don't have all of the facts. And maybe these are facts that can't actually be shared with you at the moment. There might be something to do with confidentiality. There might be something that is, this is need to know basis information. But just know that you are probably not getting the full story, and you may not this week. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, this would be a week for you to probably take a moment to consider where it is that you... Why am I saying this? Come on, Rafi. The reason I'm saying this is the Seven of Swords with the Hanged Man, that's a very nebulous energy. It's a very confusing energy. And so maybe you offer one thing and somebody else hears something completely different, and they go down the route of, well, that's false advertising. You said that I was going to get this, this, and this. This would be a week to really, that thing. I don't know if any of you ever worked in the service industry, but one thing that I used to do when I worked in bars and restaurants was repeat people's order back to them, just to see, have you heard everything that you ordered? Do you remember everything that just to, because sometimes it happens, right? It's sometimes we do it absent-mindedly. So just be sure to check in with whoever your prospective clients are, so that you're both in agreement on what is actually being asked for. For those of you that are, oh, come on, brain, retired and no longer working, this could be, I don't know why, but I almost get the feeling that someone's going to question you on what you actually do with your time this week. So when they do, just be sure to have an answer prepared, that is closer to the truth rather than a lie. For those of you that are partnered, business, so you've got the Eight of Swords for your love and relations. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, some move that you're wanting to make may feel very stifling this week. It's almost like there's a lot of you are wanting to change direction on something. And this week, maybe a partner's going to hold you to a commitment that you had agreed to. Maybe you did agree to it, maybe you didn't, maybe you weren't, necessarily, maybe you had a million different things on your mind at the time. And it wasn't until, that final moment that you were like, oh crap, actually, I'm not going to be able to do this. Be mindful of that, because I kind of get the feeling that now that you've agreed with it, a partner's probably going to push for you to see it through. So if you can't speak up as quick as possible. For those of you that are single and looking and open, I'm just going to tell you straight up, this is not a week for love. You're not seeing things clearly. For those of you that are reconnecting, especially reconnecting with a Pisces person, be mindful of this. That's as much as I will say. Have the conversation maybe, but outside of that, I would just be very mindful that this is not necessarily a week to build a connection for love. For your money and materials, you've got the Five of Swords. When it comes to money, resources, and finances, so it looks like you're negotiating really hard on something, to the point of possibly even arguing about it, especially for those of you that are partnered. But one thing that I will say to you is, whatever financial commitments you are bound to or choose to bind yourself to this week, you're probably not getting the full story, and you're going to end up being tied to it for longer than you would like to. Be very, very mindful of this. It looks like a challenging week for you guys, but it's more on the interpersonal level. Do you know what I mean? It's not so much about like the external world or, hard things happening or finding you. It's more a case of the interpersonal connections are going to cause the challenges. For your physical health and vitality, the Five of Swords, especially with the Hanged Man, this is a week where, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, but your a hormonal imbalance this week could really get the better of you. So look after yourself, really look after yourself. And then for the Five of Swords with the Hanged Man, this might be a time where some of you really start to think about, you know, getting out of Dodge for a while, you know, taking a holiday or a vacation, or a, you know, it's just going to be a really interesting week, I think, all in all. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have as conscious a week as you possibly can. Keep your cards close to your chest, I think is what I will say. All right. With that said, take care, and I will see you soon.